Wondering if you should pick up the new Marvel Snap Season Pass card, wait until it goes to packs, or skip it altogether? Well, in this video, I'll break down all the cards that work well with Esme Cuckoo, as well as some deck archetypes that can benefit from her. I'll provide my ultimate conclusion, and then at the end, I'll provide two deck lists where I think she'll shine. Esme Cuckoo is a 3 energy, 4 power card that has, on reveal, copy a card from your deck into your hand. Set its cost to 3 and its power to 4. When I look at Esme Cuckoo, I think of two things: redundancy and consistency. These are kind of similar, but for my purposes, they're worlds apart. Regarding Esme Cuckoo, I consider redundancy to be getting a card that you would want two of in play. For consistency, I consider getting a card that you want two of in your deck. To better explain redundancy, let's look how Esme works with last season's pass card, Captain Carter. One Captain Carter is good, yeah, but two is really good, especially if that second one gets a 2 power bonus from Esme, making the copy a 3/4 instead of its normal 3/2. Then combine those with a Silver Surfer and you've got a 3/4 and 3/6 Captain Carter on the field, which is pretty great. Now, it should be noted that if Esme copies a card like Galacta and then you play Surfer after the 3/4 Galacta is in play, and the copy won't actually get Surfer's buff, since Surfer looks for base cost and there really isn't anything in the game at this moment that adjusts the base cost, including Esme. To better explain consistency, let's look at how Esme looks in a classic Mr. Negative deck. Now, I don't know if this is the current optimal negative list, but for intents and purposes, let's just say this is the standard one. And it's pretty dog water if it doesn't get negative. Like, you can still win, but you really want negative to do the thing that your deck was built to do. If you swap out, let's say Ironheart, which is probably the weakest card here, and replace it with Esme, something interesting happens. Depending on what you've drawn by the time you play Esme, you might have a pretty good shot of copying the Mr. Negative from your deck, increasing the odds of doing what your deck wanting to do in the first place. Esme is particularly good here since even a whiff on a combo piece can leave you with a really good copied card. For instance, a 3/4 Iron Man or a 3/4 Gore is really good. Heck, you can even get the other part of the combo, as Esme can work similarly but for giving you better odds of getting a Jane Foster, making your pop-off potential even higher. I could even see Esme work well in a Hela deck if Hela ever becomes good again, especially in a combo-heavy version like the old Invisible Woman, MODOK Hela decks. Using Esme actually reminds me a lot of the old America Chavez, where you would just run it to thin out your deck. Now, I don't think Esme is as powerful as that America Chavez, but it's in the same ballpark, potentially at least. Now, before I can come to any conclusion on Esme, we need to keep two things in mind. The first being that the Season Pass is the absolute best way to spend money in the game. The return, even if it includes a subpar card, is greater than almost any other investment you can make in Snap, like ever. So if you are going to spend money on the game, the Season Pass is always recommendation number one. The second thing is that you can't really and honestly evaluate a card specifically because odds are Second Dinner will nerf, buff, or somehow change the card. It's usually a tweak to the energy cost or power, so in order to honestly and accurately review a card, we need to consider the ability, as that's less likely to change. And I do think that the redundancy and consistency that Esme Cuckoo can provide makes her ability really good. So for me, I will be picking up Esme as part of the Season Pass, as that's kind of what I do. $10 per month, and that's about more or less all I spend on Marvel Snap. Sometimes I get the Gold Pass as well. However, if you don't always get the Season Pass or are free to play, I would wait to pick her up later, maybe through a pack, maybe after she's dropped down into the overall Series 5 collection pack. It's not that I don't think she's a good card, I just don't see her putting a dent into the Thanos metagame. So I would wait until they nerf Thanos enough to unseat it from its perch atop the entire metagame, or until they magically find a way to buff Esme just in time to incentivize people to pay real money for it, just like they did Captain Carter. Now, if we assume Second Dinner is a competent and responsible developer and Thanos more or less leaves or is less prominent from the meta, what decks would I run Esme in? Well, the first here is negative, and this is the shell that I would run, just removing Sage for Esme. The deck originally ran Wong here instead of Jubilee, but that's because it works well getting the multiple triggers on Cassandra Nova and Sage if your plan A doesn't work out. But I don't know if Wonging in Esme is good, although it could very well be. I'll have to test that out. But in general, I think the ability to dig deep into your deck and get a potential negative or Jane for 3 mana is really powerful, and that just about each other card left in your deck is a solid hit. Iron Man, Gore, heck, even a duplicate Ravonna is pretty good. The second deck, and for me, the far more interesting deck, is the Bullseye option. Bullseye is really more of a combo deck than the traditional discard value type deck, and leveraging Esme will shift it even further into that combo direction. This is the version that I currently run, and there are two considerations that I'm thinking about. The first being what to take out for Esme, and Frigga seems like it's the first option, as Esme shares a lot of functionality with Frigga, in that they both can duplicate one of your scalars, but Frigga's more controllable, while Esme has more upside, being able to reach for a bullseye or Modok that has eluded you so far. The other option I'm thinking is Gambit, and Gambit's always felt like the last choice of a discard outlet since I can never rely on Gambit hitting anything good, doubly so in a Thanos meta. But if we replace Gambit with Esme, then the deck drops down to just 3 discard effects, so that's a little worrisome. Though if we haven't drawn something like Colleen or Blade by the time we play Esme, there's a good chance that we end up with a 3/4 discard outlet as our copied card. The second thing to consider is that if I add Esme to the deck, does that warrant the reintroduction of Grandmaster to the deck? That might be a bit more shenanigans and is actually good and a bit too cutesy, so I'm leaning towards not, but it is something to think about. Now, the ideal line in Esme in the Bullseye deck is to have a Friggum like on the bottom of your deck and use Esme to get a Frigga, then use that Frigga copy to copy your Esme and put it into your hand, then play that Esme to get another Frigga, then play that Esme to get another Frigga, and on until the end of time. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and maybe watch another video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.